Hello, everyone. If you're watching this live or experiencing this in a different time space continuum than we are here live, welcome. My name is Liz. This is a show that I've been doing was weekly for about a year, and then I shifted to an every other week rhythm a month or two ago. And I'm sitting in my backyard. I couldn't help but be outside because it is just incredibly stunningly beautiful, but also just feels incredible on my skin and my body. So I'm going to take these few minutes to be here. And I am sipping on this extremely creamy morning coffee. Mm, yeah, that's really good. It's 11 a.m. and I'm still sipping on my coffee. I really like it when my coffee lasts late into the morning. And I just finished my breakfast, which was in this bowl, which was some homemade peanut sauce, like a Thai peanut sauce that I made last week for some rice paper spring rolls that I made with a friend. And I put that on some lettuce with a couple fried eggs. Oh, I didn't add cilantro. Dang, I missed that. I've been putting cilantro on my eggs and it's been so good. Fresh cilantro from my sister in law's garden. What's coming up for me that I'd like to speak about today is the reality of life for so many of us that brings us into thinking and this attention that's really here in the thinking mind, the frontal lobe, the neocortex. And sorry, I didn't put my AirPods in because I'm going to let that airplane pass. Um, Even though the body, the autonomic nervous system, the body is constantly receiving information from the environment. So while we aren't present necessarily with the body's experience while we're thinking in our thinking mind, this place of rationale and insight and um, strategic thinking and planning and choice making. Um, while we're not there, hello, while we are there, we aren't in the presence of our body's experience. And so this is what I wanted to bring through in this conversation today was as I was sitting here, and I like to try and pause when I eat and allow myself to be in the experience of receiving nourishment. And I set down my phone. I used to read while I ate. I don't do that anymore. I usually sit right here and hopefully in the sunshine. And I let myself just feel the experience of eating and putting the food in my mouth, tasting it, the texture of the crunch or whatever it is on my teeth, the way my mouth moves, the flavor, all of the things that are related to the experience of eating, and being so present with that. And and the feeling of being in the presence of our senses is so just like cry. It is so essential to feeling alive. And it's like because so many of us are so busy in our lives and our these requirements of work or responsibility in some way. I'm thinking of parenting also because I have a son, um, that bring us into like deep thinking, frontal lobe focused connection. And we, in that space, are often disconnected from the sensory experience. Our body is still obviously always in the experience through our sensory system: taste, smell, sound, sight, especially sight, and touch. Yet we're not in presence with the experience when we're in our thinking space, when we're in our frontal lobe neocortex thinking mind space. And so it it's very, very, it's like there's a chasm there, even though it seems subtle. It's huge, because we're not in presence with the sensory experience. And when we are in presence with the sensory experience, we are in the now, and our body feels this relaxation. It feels integrating, it feels grounding, it feels peaceful, it feels, these are all things that I'm describing from my relationship with being in presence with my body's experience. And I would argue also that for a Homo sapien, like any other mammal species, it brings us into a state of stability and stabilization and settledness. And it's the simple reason is that we're connected. We're connected in the moment, the present moment, to our body mind. So I hope that makes sense. If we can all, we can't, it's challenging for all of us to be in the sensory experience all day long while we're in our waking hours, of course. But the more we can choose to slow down and to be in the sensory experience of our body, the more we can support ourselves to feel alive. So um, I hope that is helpful and makes sense. And I think there's a lot of ways to talk about all of these things very scientifically. We can look at all the neuroscience, we can look at all of the therapeutic research. It's fascinating and beautiful, and I love it. And I love to nerd out on it. And like, how do we actually apply that into everyday life in a way that's digestible and that is applicable and that we can actually implement, is implementable. And so this is my idea, suggestion, invitation, encouragement for all of us, is to find moments, just moments, maybe once an hour, maybe once in the morning, once at lunch, once or a few times in the evening, simply to pause. Woo, just slow down and be through the senses. Notice if you're taking a walk, um, what are your eyes connecting into? Like the shapes of a tree or the leaves or a shadow. Um, Using the eyesight, I don't like the word using, experiencing our eyesight in a way that feels like presence, that feels in the moment. Um, Also, touch. If you're slowing down, just touching your own body, feeling like, oh, what does it feel like to put my hand on my cheek? Does that help me feel here in this moment? Smelling, maybe noticing smells. Like I love essential oils, and just the smell, or if I burn juniper or sage or something, what is that smell? The smell, just simply being in the experience of smell, of scent, of fragrance, can bring us into our body, into the present moment. Again, I talked about flavor earlier, sound, noticing maybe the sound of waves or the sound of birds, anything that helps us to be here. So I hope that's helpful in some way. It's a privilege and an honor and a delight to share and be in this space. And I'm grateful for your attention and time and willingness to explore more deeply yourself. Mm. You heard that little sound. This show is called growL, and it's still fundamental to what this is all about, which is uh, spontaneous expression and allowing ourselves to express, like, okay, so I'm listening to that bird and I'm feeling the sounds that it's making. And this is not necessarily like a way of integrating stuck body mind information and unfelt emotion, unfelt emotional energy, which most all of us are massively burdened by. Um, this is the disconnection from self that starts from, for many of us, at maybe even at birth, or even epigenetically through the womb, or through our relationship to whoever was carrying us while we were in the womb. But then we also inherit things through this epigenetic ancestral lineage, learned patterns that come through. Um, so that's a whole different topic, but it's related in that how can we be in authentic expression of our body's experience? And that is what brings us into wholeness, to express from truth, to express from authenticity. And when we are disconnected from what our authenticity even is, it's hard to know, who am I? It's hard to feel confident and to feel trusting. Who am I? So, gently coming back into our authentic experience through slowing down, noticing, and expressing, feeling, and finding a safe place to be witnessed, which is part of what I offer with my professional containers. So, second, thank you for being here and sending all my love, and look forward to seeing everyone in 2 weeks.